The high-profile trial between the Kleiman estate and Craig Wright continues. Wright claims to be the inventor of Bitcoin and the owner of over 1 million Bitcoins. The estate of his deceased friend and alleged business partner, Dave Kleiman, is requesting their share of the Bitcoin fortune. Joining us now from Florida, where the trial is taking place, is CoinDesk reporter Cheyenne Ligon. Hi there, Cheyenne. So you've been covering the Craig Wright trial for CoinDesk over the past week. Walk us through what you've seen so far.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting. As you said, this case is about Craig Wright, who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and he's being sued by the estate of his former best friend and business partner, Dave Kleiman. So we've heard from a lot of people in both of the men's lives, including Ira Kleiman, who's Dave's brother. Dave passed away in 2013, so Ira is representing his estate, as well as a lot of people from the men's personal lives during the time period in question, including Ramona Watts, who's Craig's wife, and then some coworkers, friends of Dave and Craig at the time. So yesterday, Craig took the stand for the first time. That was very interesting. We've heard from a lot of other people, too. We've heard from Andreas Antonopoulos, the Bitcoin expert who was retained as an expert witness by the plaintiff to explain sort of the basics of crypto to the jury. Gavin Andreessen, the former lead Bitcoin developer. But yes, yesterday, Craig took the stand for the first time. And before we get into that, I will say that his testimony is not over. He's going to go today and probably into tomorrow, too. But it didn't really go very well. He was shown a lot of pieces of contradictory evidence, and he didn't really have good answers for them. He contradicted a lot of his own statements, as well as a host of legal documents he was shown.
So what exactly did Craig Wright say on the stand? Like, what exactly was he? What was his? What were the issues there?
So, I mean, it's hard to know exactly what his full story is because he hasn't finished testifying yet. But yesterday, most of the testimony revolved around a issue he had with the Australian Tax Office, which is sort of the Australian IRS, which is where a lot of the documents come from in this case, where he kind of begins to claim on paper that he and Dave had a business partnership, that partnership was responsible for mining Bitcoin. And he said that a lot of the documents that he was shown never happened. He also claimed that a lot of what they were mining were actually testnet Bitcoins and not real Bitcoins. So it's all very complicated, and I don't really know where he's going with it yet, but we'll see later today.
So Cheyenne, what's next? What are we looking at now?
Yeah, so the trial is scheduled to last 3 weeks, but the way that things are going, it will probably last into a fourth, who knows, maybe a fifth. That's sometimes how these things go. For this week, we're ending early on Wednesday because of Veterans Day. But when we come back, when everybody finishes testifying and we get through the closing arguments, the jury will be asked to decide whether Ira potentially is owed tens of billions of dollars from Craig. And that's when things get really interesting because a lot of people don't believe that Craig has access to these coins. And if he does have access, how the court can force him to give them to Ira. So who knows what comes next? It's exciting.